The nation's leader makes it known that he's eager for yet another term in office. Hundreds apply for jobs at Bahamar, and a local high school is thrown into terror and mayhem after a student is stabbed. We've got those stories and others. I'm your host, Krishna Virgil, and this is the Tribune's Top 5. With the general election impending, Prime Minister Perry Christie revealed that he's in it to win it, telling supporters that he's eager to serve another term. As he gears up for a leadership challenge at the Progressive Liberal Party's first convention since 2009, Prime Minister Perry Christie spoke of his energy and eagerness to serve another term, as he urged party supporters not to squander the opportunity to win the general election. Speaking before a crowd of jubilant supporters at a PLP Women's Branch meeting on Sunday, Mr. Christie brushed off his critics as he spoke of his plans his administration looks to finalize before voters head to the polls this year. Highlighting many of his party's achievements, Mr. Christie contended that the PLP has done and continues to do everything possible to move the Bahamas forward. He also urged party supporters to show the country how strong and how unified the PLP is at its upcoming convention. He suggested that despite efforts by a section of his party to unseat him as leader, he will not relent in the forward progress of the country nor his political work. Touching on details of several initiatives, including airports in North Eleuthera and Exuma, plans to construct a modern care facility for children with special needs and disabilities, and multiple public-private partnership agreements that would see the construction of roadways, government buildings, and other national projects, Mr. Christie declared that the work of country would not slow due to those that challenge our progress. Mr. Christie, noting several of the recent stops he had made on his campaign trail, stated that he has made a point to not ask for or request the support of those that he comes in contact with, opting instead to remind persons of the work he and his team have already done. In response to Prime Minister Perry Christie's assertion that he will pass the baton when the time is right, Progressive Liberal Party leader hopeful Alfred Sayers QC said on Tuesday that the decision is not up to Mr. Christie. Appearing as a guest on The Revolution with host Juan McCartney, Mr. Sayers said one man cannot determine when it is time to change the leadership of the PLP. He said that choice is made by the members, stalwarts, and delegates who have waited years for the change they've been asking for. Last week, after addressing a crowd of supporters at Southern Recreation Grounds after a march to celebrate the 50th anniversary of majority rule, Mr. Christie suggested that there would be a leadership transition in the PLP at the right time. As one generation goes out, a new generation comes in, Mr. Christie said. He added, "To those of you who aspire, we recognize that just as Sir Lyndon Pindling passed the baton to Hubert Ingram and then was eventually passed to myself, the baton will be passed. The only thing I can tell you is, at the right time," end quote. Mr. Christie has been the leader of the PLP since 1997 and plans to remain leader heading into the next general election. On its first day open, Bahamar's careers website attracted 1,500 people who are eager to inquire or apply for jobs with the shuttered resort. Over 1,500 people applied for and or inquired about jobs at the one-stalled Bahamar Mega Resort on Monday, according to senior company officials who said the numbers demonstrate that the company is making good on its promise to generate a significant amount of jobs in the country. Robert Sands, Senior Vice President of Government and External Affairs at Bahamar, told the Tribune that the company's website, careers.bahamar.com, and social media and Facebook saw over 1,000 applications and over 500 inquiries, respectively. With those figures, Bahamar has made significant strides toward its goal of recruiting some 1,500 Bahamians in its first wave of hiring for the previously beleaguered resort in time for its April partial opening. Notwithstanding the encouraging numbers, however, Mr. Sands said only selected persons will be invited to come in for follow-up interviews. On Sunday, Mr. Sands announced that Bahamar would begin the process of recruiting 1,500 Bahamians in its first wave of hiring for the Cable Beach Resort. He told the Tribune that the entire process will be conducted online through the company's website. Interested persons are asked to visit the website and or send their resumes to careers.bahamar.com. At the time, Mr. Sands said the resort is looking to initially fill positions at the golf course and the casino hotel ahead of its scheduled April 21st partial opening. However, he encouraged persons who are seeking jobs in other areas to still apply, as thousands more persons will be hired in coming months. He also said the resort is looking for persons with a good attitude who are ready to be trained. Up to Friday, there were more than 5,475 applicants. Police Commissioner Alison Greenslade on Tuesday called the country's murder count so far for this month a disgrace, but stressed that many of the country's recent killings stem from feuds over drugs and relationships. Commissioner Greenslade said prolific serial offenders cannot remain free in our communities to continue to create fear and possibly commit more serious crimes. He urged family members, friends, and associates of serial criminals to turn them into police before you become targets. At a press conference at police headquarters, he pleaded with members of the public to assist the Royal Bahamas Police Force in locating several men police want to question in connection with homicide investigations. Commissioner Greenslade said if police are able to arrest some prolific offenders, he believes that there will be no murder report this evening, none tomorrow, and none in weeks and months ahead. Despite recording 11 killings so far for the month, Commissioner Greenslade reiterated that crime in the country is down in all areas except murder. He said the spate in homicides since last November, 40 and 2.5 months, is a result of an ongoing feud among these young men who know each other. He said the recent killings were not gang-related, but stemmed from drug deals and arguments over women and men. The government high school is the scene of an horrific sight after a brawl erupted, resulting in 3 students sustaining stab wounds. A teenage boy is in critical condition in hospital after he was stabbed multiple times during a brawl at the government high school on Thursday morning, which left 2 other students injured. The fight took place shortly after 11 a.m. on the school's Yellow Elder Gardens campus. The 3 teens were injured during the argument between dozens of children during the school's first recess. 2 of the boys are listed in stable condition, while police said the other victim was critically injured. The school was immediately put on lockdown while police processed the crime scene and spoke to witnesses. Angry parents shouted outside the school's main gate on Thursday as they waited for the students to be released, with many in fear that one of their relatives had been injured. In a 30-second video taken during the fight and posted on social media, several students appear to be hitting and punching each other. One young man is seen on the video with what appears to be a knife in his hand, running towards the fight. Assistant Commissioner of Police Stephen Dean said 2 young men, students of GHS, are in police custody assisting with their investigation. ACP Dean said it is unfortunate that the incident occurred on the school's campus. He said there was a school policing officer at the school at the time of the brawl, but because of the size of the compound and the large student population, it is a difficult school to police. ACP Dean told reporters at the school, quote, shortly after 11, the school was on break when there was an altercation between a group of students that led to 1 student being stabbed and 2 others being injured. 3 were taken to hospital, 1 is in critical condition, the other 2 are in stable condition. We are in the early stage of our investigation. We have interviewed students and teachers to determine who might be involved. We have had an idea of the persons that were involved in the fight. We are in the early stage of the investigation, end quote.